Oh. Wait, was I talking this whole time and it didn't actually say I was going live? My bad if that happened. I forgot to press a button, so sorry about that. Hey out there, everybody. Welcome to Large Format Live. My name is Matt Marrash. Each and every Friday, I'm going to be here and chatting about something large format photography, but it's a special one. This is our first month of the year where we have 5 Fridays, so there's going to be 5 types of LFF going on this month. And yeah, welcome all who waited. Thank you so much for your patience. I see folks hyping each other up in the chat. I really, really appreciate seeing each and every one of you here. Some quick shout outs to folks that have been hanging out in the chat this entire time. I have Jeremy, Devin, Sean, Carrie, Mike, GX Ace, also known as Casey. I see Techie Type, Bryce, Calumet Video, Michael Wellman, Mariette, Chris, Nico, Mariette, and Chris. All right, sweet. So thank you all so much for hanging out. And I do have some topics I want to get to today, and I will be interspersing this with some Q&A, but really I just didn't have time to do like a really, really polished video. So I thought, you know, maybe a less polished live stream is more up that alley. Plus, this is the first month where we have 5 Fridays, starting with Friday, April 1st. So there's going to be 5 editions of LFF this very month, starting with this live stream to really kick things off. Let me know how the audio sounds down below in the chat. I'm pretty sure that stuff is solved, but yeah, let's just check her out. So I have Sam, I have Mark, I have Derek, I have Cody, I have Austin. Hey Austin, it was great spending the weekend with you. You too, Casey, Mr. GX Ace. Lots of really cool folks that I got to meet over on the West Coast. I'm still kind of recovering from that trip, but thank you all so much for putting on, just being awesome hosts and hanging out and shooting all sorts of film over in Joshua Tree. It was so much fun. All right. HL Ron. All right, so I'm going to tackle 2 questions, and then we're going to get into like the news docket. I already kind of practiced some, and then we'll kind of intersperse everything with the hey, how are yous. So my big goals for today's live stream include talking about what's kind of hot in the news. We're going to talk price increases, film availabilities, and a campaign I am very passionate about, especially because I got to talk to some folks this past weekend, and that is the Cinestill 400D sheet film. Okay, so starting off fresh, at the very, very top, I did see a few questions come in before we went live, and I think some of them got like buried within there, but one of the first questions that went live a few hours ago was, Matt, what do you think the odds are of the Cinestill 400D sheet film coming to life? They're very, very good. At the time of me showing this, we are at a 96% goal completion towards 4x5 sheet film happening. It is very likely, and half of the reason for this live stream is to push this out to folks that might be shooting any film format, 35, 120, or large format, and tell them that the 400D project is very, very close to happening. It's not a dollar amount, it is actually just a number of supporters amount. We are just shy of 9,000, which is their goal to fire the 4x5 sheet film. So I'm super stoked about it, but I'll talk more about that a little bit later. Let's see, more questions. Let's see. Great, all right. I guess we have a question from a large format, an LFF sustaining member, also a supporter, Mr. Kerry Pridgeon. He asked, where are 24 by 24 cameras sold? Those are definitely a custom made camera. There are some wet plate camera manufacturers in the US and abroad that will make those out of wood. There's also Chamonix, you're throwing off money at them. They'll make a camera for you. Same goes with Keith Canham. I think he caps out at 20 by 24. There's that HF Cameras. They're an Eastern European company. I believe they will also make a giant square camera. You might need 2 tripods for that one, but they're out there. If the budget's there, the camera's there. All right. Let's see, how is everybody doing? Hey Nico, hey CM, Mariette, Michael, Austin, Nico, and then Laura. Finally, we have Laura moderating the chat. Everybody, Laura, that's my fiance, Laura. She is awesome with moderating all sorts of things live stream. She's also a successful Twitch streamer if you enjoy art and or a variety of video games, including Destiny and what was the other one? I was going to say Samus, but Metroid. That's Laura, so check her out. Cool. All right. Do we have any other questions? I guess I'll say some more hi, how are yous? and we'll get into the news. Good. All right, no more questions. Wow. Wait, there we go. All right, I see Thomas and I see Jim. This is pretty cool. Actually, this is a great question. Jim, any chance Acros in 4x5 and 8x10 will be available? Demand worked in 35 and 120. I'm not too hopeful for that, Jim. And the reason is, you know, as much as I have 55 people watching this live stream right now, we are but a drop in the giant bucket that is still film photography. And then that bucket is a bucket in the Olympic-sized swimming pool that is the entirety of film. Because while it's really easy to talk about how great shooting with film is, here I'm going to darken this, the sun just kind of brightened up a little bit, there we go. It's so great to talk about how awesome film is and stills are. Motion picture is what's keeping a lot of this going on. And that's also why I wanted to do this stream, to talk about what really keeps film going around here. And I am a firm believer in that film is only still as prevalent as it is because the motion picture industry is using this. I was doing some numbers last night to try to come ready for today's live stream. And when you shoot 1 minute, this is just 1 minute of 35mm motion picture film, projecting at Super 35 across there. Each minute of film at 24 frames per second is the equivalent of shooting 18 rolls of 35mm film, or 18 rolls of 120, or 18 sheets of 8x10. Now you could divide that by 4, and that would give you the number of, or sorry, multiply that by 4, and that would be the number of 4x5 sheets. That's a ton of film. So motion picture, whenever they're shooting dailies, doing backups, archival stuff, it consumes more film than we can really fathom. Unless you're somebody that's going through more than 500 sheets of color film each and every year, which is like the 1% of the 1%, the better impact you can have on film photography is going to the movies, especially ones that are projecting on 35mm film. All right, let's get back to the questions and say hi to everybody. All right. Oh, Techie Type asks, who the heck is shooting all this video? It's me. It's solo. So I'm actually remote. I'm up in my darkroom space up here at 400 West Ridge. In fact, let me cut to the other camera. You guys don't know about my other camera yet, so I'm gonna cut her on over. So boop boop, and I'm gonna head into the darkroom space here. This is in case the audio gets too out of whack and too loud. I can answer some questions here in the darkroom space, and look, it's still kind of clean. I got some watermarks I gotta get rid of, but otherwise it doesn't look too bad in here. Yeah, it's a pretty fisheye-ish lens, but hey, got the darkroom space. So let's head it back out to the primary camera, and yeah, cool. Let's see. We have Hossip. Cool. All right, we've got Nico. All right, we have 62 folks watching. Thank you so much, everybody who's tuning in. This is Large Format Live. This is a little bit different from the standard Large Format Friday. Each and every Friday, we're going to be here, and we're going to be chatting about something large format. Now, because this is during a weekday, and this is kind of an experiment for me, could you do me a favor? Go ahead and hit that like button, and also comment. Let me know where you're hailing from so I can do my analytics and make sure I'm doing more of this stuff and doing it at the right time of day. But the likes, the comments, the shares, those really help this stuff get out to the appropriate audience, because the more I do this, the more I realize film is back in a big way. Okay, anyway, so I wanted to talk about one of the first things on the docket, which is kind of sad news. April, we don't know if it takes place April 1st, but today is the 1st of April, and Fujifilm is increasing their prices. It is confirmed that there will be a price increase between 20 and 60% on some of the remaining film stocks. Now, I say remaining because large format, we've been taking L's for over the last decade from Fujifilm. We've already talked about Acros from the comments. Velvia 50, Velvia 100, heck, Velvia 100F, you can't even legally process in larger labs due to EPA regulations around 2016. So really the only thing that's left in Fujifilm, in sheet film, is Provia, but if you don't have the amount you need, I'd recommend stocking up and freezing it. It does great, lasts a long time. E6 or transparency, also known as slide films, those last a very long time. And you can expose them essentially at box speed, even 10, 15, 20 years past when they were used. Sorry, I'm darkening my shot a little bit more. I do have this big old window light. It's great. I don't have to pay for soft boxes, but I got to watch my monitors here. All right, let's see. Let's check in where everybody is at. Hey, we've got Sean, we've got Ken, we've got Sam. Oh, Sam, thanks for reminding me that other camera, I think I have to wake it up because it goes into like this sleep mode thing. So good on you. Thank you. Oh, and everybody give Sam like a thumbs up in the chat because Sam is an absolute hero. He has loaned out to me his Lomo Graph-Lock back so I can do a comprehensive review of that. I've already tested it out with my buddy Tariq in his studio, and I want to have a video that like kind of starts, soup to nuts for that. That should be coming here pretty soon. All right, let's see who else we got. We've got Michael. We've got, oh yes, NPS. Thank you for reminding me, Devin. NPS is also RIP very, very, very sadly. So not too great. All right, we've got James. James, thanks for the hair compliment. It's, we're trying. It's a little, it doesn't have as much quiff. It doesn't have as much height, I'm almost at 4x5 hair, but we need 8x10 hair, right? We gotta keep going larger and larger. All right, we've got Eric. We've got Sam. We've got Nico. Lars, hey Lars, how's it going, man? All right, we've got Kosumi. Oh wow, hey, thanks for tuning in from Hong Kong. Very, very cool. Okay, so you want to know the real reason I asked you all here today? Thank you so much for joining me, by the way. This is Large Format Live. I'm coming to you here from Columbus, Ohio. I'm at my darkroom space at 400 West Rich. The real reason I want to talk to everybody today in a live sense, Cinestill 400D. I really want to chat on this because I haven't seen enough hype in the large format community. So in case you don't know, Cinestill launched their own kind of private crowdfunding campaign, a little over a week ago for their new emulsion 400D. Now Cinestill isn't they're not reinventing the wheel, but they are taking very, very fine motion picture films and removing the remjet and converting them into a ready-to-go C41 process stock. These are ECN2 motion picture films. Previously, they've taken Vision 500T and turned it into Cinestill 800T. They've also taken the Vision 50 and turned it into Cinestill 50D. There was one Vision film that has been requested time and time again, and that was the Vision 250D. In fact, a lot of small sellers were already doing that. Well, Cinestill is coming up to the plate, and they have found a number that they've agreed on with Kodak that they can run successfully with 250D, and they are now launching that as Cinestill 400D. The campaign has gone gangbusters so far. They have a target goal of 9,000 backers. This is not a dollar amount. I think dollar amount wise, they're doing great. They've reached over $500,000 on this, and they are very, very close. We're talking 96 to 97% of the way there to their goal of 9,000 kind of pre-orders or pledges on this. I have full confidence that Cinestill is going to make this. They are currently between 96 and 97% of the way there. The reason I'm mentioning it, though, is because I've already kicked in for 25 sheets. I might be upping that to 100 sheets just because another 400 daylight film is an awesome option. But the most important part is you don't have to buy the 4x5 to make an impact. All you have to do is do the minimum order, which I believe is 2 rolls of 35mm 400D. That counts as a pledge towards that goal of 9,000 folks. So if you want to see a genuinely new sheet film come to life, head over to Cinestill. I'm going to drop the link to the campaign in the comments here. I really strongly recommend checking it out, guys. They're so close to the way there, and I have used their 800T when it was available as a sheet film. It's just awesome that we have options. In a day and age where people are jazzed about film, but manufacturers are really, really timid about doing a lot of R&D and a lot of front-heavy work to get a very niche thing out. This is a great commitment to see. Okay, so we're gonna open up Cinestill's campaign. Great. And sorry for the long link on there. All right, let's see who all we got. Oh, we have over 70 folks watching. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. This is Large Format Live. My name is Matt Marrash, and yeah, we're talking about the news. I just talked about Fujifilm's price increase. I'm talking about the new Cinestill 400D, which is already slated to bring us 35mm, 120, and we are like less than a few hundred folks away from getting to a 4x5-inch sheet film. Now, we're not sure if this is going to be something that's brought to regular stock, but I do have a little bit of insight I can offer to that. But I got to pay some homage to folks in the comments right now. All right. We've got Nate from Ontario. We've got Chris. We've got Kevin. Hey, Kevin, it was great meeting you last weekend too. Thank you so much for tuning into the live stream. We've got Thomas from South Carolina. We've got IM from Okanagan, Canada. Very cool. We've got Eric. We've got CM. We've got Michael. We've got, let's see, we've got GX Ace. Actually, Casey, GX Ace has a good question. Are there any companies that re-roll any of the Fuji cine films like Eterna? I know there was some folks that were selling that on eBay, and I know some of the ECN2 folks that were selling stuff on Etsy were offering something similar to that, but I've not really followed the Fujifilm cinema film stocks as much as I've kept a close eye on Kodak, because Cinestill had that pipeline they kind of created it. So very, very cool. Mike E asks, will 400D come in 5x7? You got to get to 4x5 before you can even consider 5x7. So let me, I'm going to kind of redrop some stats that I shared just a little bit earlier, but 4x5 film makes up let's just even lump it all in. Large format makes up roughly 2% of the stills photography market. Medium format makes up the other 8%, and then we are to 90% within 35 millimeter. 35 millimeter blows everything else out of the water. And then if you back up even further from that scale, motion picture film and its usage and its how used it is in the industry is going to take that whole bucket of film photography, and it's going to be a bucket in an Olympic-sized swimming pool for what motion picture uses. Where motion picture goes, so goes film photography. That's just really what it's going to be. The best thing you can do to support film photography, besides liking, comment, and subscribing on this channel, is to go watch a movie. Seriously, go watch a movie that's still projected on 35 millimeter or 70 millimeter films. Those do more to support film photography than any amount of shooting you can do, unless you're shooting more than 500 color sheets of film a year. That's my heart's racing just thinking about shooting that much film. But seriously, going and seeing a movie and supporting the film industry, maybe not so much like streaming services, but anybody that is using 35 millimeter film, support them. That is doing more for film photography than all of the consumption in the world of stills film. Even if you're ordering this stuff by the truckload. It's crazy, but that's really how the numbers shake out. All right, let's take a look down back at the comments. All right. Hey, Mark, thanks for stopping in the chat. Very cool. Whoa. We have, sorry folks, we have a celebrity here in the chat. Jason, Mr. Grainy Days, is checking out the chat right now. Jason, can I just say, you're a cool dude. Super, super cool. It was so sweet seeing Jason and Caleb, and just at I went to this conference in Joshua Tree last weekend. We didn't have a boardroom or anything, but we were out on this campsite. It was sponsored by the Dark Room. We also did a Beers and Cameras event on Friday night and Saturday, but it was so cool to see a lot of other influencers or content creators, whatever you want to call them, film nerds that kind of made it more legit by filming themselves. Seeing all of those folks out in the wild, sharing their process, and just talking about what gets them excited. It was so cool to see the things that we shared in common, see the things that we didn't have in common, but just kind of, hang out and observe everything. Jason, I'm really sorry if any flashlights that were swung around ruined those long exposures you were doing on Saturday night. I'm sure they're gonna have a great look because it was on Cinestill. All right, very, very cool. All right, let's see. Oh, Nico, I really like that suggestion. I can't really dance. I can Dance Revolution, but I can't really dance. But if we do somehow hit 100% while this live is going, yeah, you got it. I'll do some sort of dance. That's pretty cool. That would include us we're currently 96% of the way, but yeah, I can commit to that. That's fine. All right, let's see how else we're doing. Daryl asks, how do I know if a film is being used with 35 millimeter. You may have to do a little bit of sleuthing. Usually IMDb pages will show if something was shot and projected with film. Also, it really helps if you have a small-time theater that is like a non-for-profit theater. Here in Columbus, Ohio, we have a fantastic, well, we actually have two of them. We have Studio 35 in Clintonville, and downtown Columbus, we also have the Gateway Film Center, which is a non-for-profit film center where you can watch a 70 millimeter film for less than 25 bucks. That's like, come on, of course you want to do that. But yeah, check with local theaters, see if they're still projecting or if they're showing prints from 35 millimeter. It is even worth a drive to do this because again, this is better than shooting a whole year's worth of film for most film shooters. Okay, let's see how, I agree, Nico, we need to just completely smash that target for 4x5 film. All right, let's see how everything else is doing. Oh, Thomas is mentioning another favorite film photographer, Mr. Sandy Femester. I have been following Sandy's work for the longest time. He is a genius when it comes to portraiture with medium format, but he's also kind of gone more large format over the last 4 or 5 years. Awesome, awesome work, super consistent. And you know, there's just some photographers that have like a style that you can just see it a mile away. Sandy is one of those photographers. So awesome, awesome work to check out. We still got so many folks here watching Large Format Live. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Could you do me a favor? Hit like on here, drop a comment, let me know if you're excited or if you've pledged for Cinestill 400D. I feel like I'm doing a telethon for these guys and they don't know it. But anyway, I want to see this happen because unique opportunities like new 4x5 films don't come along often. And yeah, this is kind of my main reason for doing this live stream, to let people know about this campaign. I know that shipping outside the United States can be a bit tricky, but you don't have to buy the 4x5 film at the $125 or $400 level. You can pop in at the $30 level and still be someone that is backing the creation of a new 4x5 film. So actually, I want to talk some nitty-gritty about Cinestill sheet films because I guess I really didn't mention this. Back a few years ago, well, 3 years ago now, at the Film Photography Paideia, another really cool event that was hosted by The Darkroom, when I was out in San Clemente, the folks at Cinestill handed me a little care package which included a few sheets of Cinestill 400D in 4x5. Now at the time, this was something that they were just tossing around as an idea, and they literally had taken the master roll that you would normally use for medium format, and they trimmed it into 4x5 inch sheets. They were, I believe they were hand trimmed off the line, and they did better than any hand trimming I've ever done. But the film had a really, really cool look. Was it grainy? Yeah, it was grainy. It's an 800 speed film and it didn't have an anti-halation backing. It was also kind of thin because it had the 120 base. But Cinestill has pledged that if they're hitting that number of backers, they're going to be able to do a dedicated 4x5 inch film. Now, I haven't gotten official confirmation that it's going to be on a thicker base, but I'm fairly certain if you're going to do a 4x5 run, you're going to do the heavier base on there. That's like the only way to do it. It'll also encourage more folks to get into color. But even at the price it's slated for, it's cheaper than Portra, it's cheaper than certain Fujifilm films. It's also cheaper than I'm seeing some expired film go for. Okay, very, very cool. Laura, don't worry, unless we have like 400 people watching this live stream, I don't think we're going to hit the Cinestill goal on live stream. I also don't plan on being here super, super long today, but you know, we'll see what happens. We'll play it by ear. All right, we've got Ben Parks with a comment. Hi Matt, 8x10 paper negative developer. Would you recommend a paper developer like Multigrade or a film developer like Rodinal? Ben, I would actually recommend using paper. You're using paper, use a paper developer. I usually don't recommend like a cross process between film and paper developers unless you've tested it a lot and there is a known kind of contrast you're trying to achieve with it. I've only seen folks do this with like X-ray film and litho films, and even then it adds a ton of punch to the process. I would recommend using Ilford Multigrade and doing your testing from there. It's the developer itself will last a lot longer, so paper developers tend to last longer in the tray than something very dilute like Rodinal. All right, we've got Eric, we've got Austin, we've got Hosa, we've got Derek. Let's see. I've also got a comment, oh yeah, theater's still projecting sound from the film. That's a rarity, and you would definitely have to be in a place with a lot of film geeks. I think Toronto may have one though. Okay, very cool. Anyways, if you're just joining us, welcome to Large Format Live. I'm outside my darkroom space. Let me actually switch the camera real quick. I'm gonna like jump in, wake up the camera, and then we'll switch over. Let's see, wake up our camera. Okay, switch over. Kind of a change of pace here. Hey, so I'm in my darkroom space. I also have a wider angle lens, so you can actually see where I was like normally standing over here, and like, yeah, we've got, look at this big awesome space we have. This is a closet. I never want to give anybody the imagination that this is a super great space, but it is a space I can use and dirty and clean every few years. And it works out pretty well. Anyway, if there's any darkroom related questions or if I need to grab props, that's why I have this camera set up. Also, if the audio for some reason gets just gnarly out there, I can pop in here. Anyway, let's head back out to the main camera. Okay. So let's see. Let's take some questions. I'll kind of recap the news, and yeah, we'll try to head out. I don't want to have this thing going way too long. I'm thinking maybe like a 50, 60 minute type live stream situation. Every time I say an hour, it goes 2, so you know, we'll see. All right. Austin asks, do we think if the 400D 4x5 increases our chances of 800T? So, Austin, that is an awesome question. I hounded every single one of the Cinestill folks that I got to meet this weekend. There's some folks that I've been friends with online for years, but every single Cinestill person, from somebody that's working the front desk to the back room, I asked them that exact same question. If 400D hits, will we get 800T? And the answer I consistently got, which makes a lot of sense, is, well, if we don't hit the one, we're not going to give you the other. So they're playing it by ear currently. I feel very confident, though, that if they knock this goal of their 9,000 supporters so far, maybe even get 10,000, that not only are they going to do a 4x5 run of 400D, it's going to show them that, yes, large format is something a little more sustainable than a handful of people, and that we can have nice things in 800T. So many folks I know would kill for more and more speed. You know, at first it was like, oh, you don't need more speed, you're working on a tripod, but this past weekend in Joshua Tree really showed me something. Folks are interested in all types of large format, whether it be handheld, working with the funky Graflex SLRs, or doing really creative stuff and long exposure stuff. The need is out there. All we need to show is that we need to show that demand in mass when asked. And this is one of those situations where Cinestill is saying, hey, show us you're interested, show us as much as 2 rolls, and we'll get this going for you. So that's why I'm here talking to you guys about that today. I hate to be a salesman about this, but I'm biased. I'm kind of like, I really want to see this happen. This is not something that happens every day. And I think this is kind of the path forward for film photography. It's with these niche groups kind of getting together, buying up films, and disseminating them. That's the only way we're going to see more and more of this stuff happening. Because as individuals, it is incredibly hard. You heard me just mention it. You would need to shoot 500 plus sheets of color film a year to have the same kind of impact as someone that just goes to the movies. So to show them we really care about it when they ask, show them. This also, I don't want to go too far off on a tangent talking about Ilford printing papers, but printing papers are expensive to make. And if we don't print stuff, it's going to go away. So it's one of those chicken egg situations. All right. Let's see, how are the comments doing here? Nico's asking, where's the film fridge? It is off-site in an undisclosed location, and I dare not show it to anybody because then they'll say I am definitely a film hoarder, which I ask Laura. Yeah. All right. Christopher, thanks for pledging for the Cinestill 400D. Yeah, if you haven't yet, I still recommend kicking in on that project because it's going to do so many good things for the film photography community. Cinestill has been committed to its customers, albeit with the price increases that everybody's had over the past few years. They've shown a consistent commitment, and they blew me out of the water when they said 4x5 could be a reality. Show them some love. You can kick in as little as 2 rolls of 35mm to show your support. This is not a dollar amount type goal. This is a number of supporters. So if you've already pledged, another thing you can do, share this live stream. Give this live stream a like. or send that link to the Cinestill campaign to somebody you know. In fact, I'm going to resubmit that link, and I'm going to pin that to the top of the chat so everybody can see that. That is a pinned comment. Perfect. And we're going to pin that. Perfect. All right. Cool. All right. We have some folks that are already saying they've pledged in the chat. Thank you so much. If you have, I really, really, really appreciate it. We're at 96% still. All right. Let's see if we can hit 97. I'm not going to dance for 97. All right. Perfect. Let's see. Techie Type asks, while 4x5 enlargers are still plentiful, there's not a lot in the larger categories like 5x7 and 8x10. Do I know of any projects? I know there was a gentleman on one of the 8x10 enlarger groups that was making his own 8x10 enlarger. They are cumbersome. There's a reason you haven't seen an 8x10 enlarger here. There's space, but then there's the willpower to make everything happen. It is a lot. I've actually had access to an 8x10 enlarger for a little over the past decade, but I haven't printed in the better part of that because it is so much work to make this sort of thing happen. 8x10 printing it's like a day job. It takes really a full day to get set up and the better part of a weekend to start getting, prints and consistent results that you like. So I love it. And the results are unique, but I think there might be better ways to kind of use resources in that regard. I think the most promising development so far has been the compact 4x5 enlarger from Intrepid. I would love to see something 8x10 from them. That'd be a really good use of their 8x10 camera because it's in a place where it's not gonna shake around too much. So I think there are some possibilities there, but I wouldn't put a lot of money on it. I would put my money on that Cinestill 4. All right, I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself. But yeah, there's some good projects that are going on right now. All right, let's see. Mr. Tiger Shark asks, when can we see shots from Joshua Tree? Well, my 8x10 kit, the coffin, is slated to arrive later today. I believe the film is going to be lagging behind that by a bit because, yeah, the darkroom is taking care of that stuff. So we'll see it when we see it. Doing traditional dip and dunk processing for sheet film takes a long time, and it takes away from being able to do lots and lots of rolls of film at a time. So we'll see it when we see it. I'm going to try to have my comprehensive video for the Joshua Tree trip up by the end of season 4. We're getting there. We're the next, I think we got like 5 or 6 episodes left. All right. Perfect. Let's see. Chris May asks, are there any decent Polaroid conversions available? I actually haven't looked into those in a long time. I know there was some folks that were selling DIY Polaroid 95 film conversion kits, and I know in the 3D printing space, there's always really cool projects that people are up to. I also know Dora Goodman does a lot of awesome stuff with 3D printed and convertible type cameras, but I'm not sure if Polaroid fits that mold. All right. Sunbeam Lands, thank you so much for kicking in on the Cinestill project. Yeah, I think this is a really good thing. I mean, full disclosure, I don't make a dime from Cinestill selling this film, but what I do get is access to a new sheet film, and that's what we all get. Whether or not it's something that you can put the money down for right now, share this project. If you're interested in film photography, 35mm, 120, heck, even motion picture stuff, supporting this project is saying, I stand for film photography. So yeah, check out the Cinestill link. It's pinned up in the comments above. All right. Very, very cool. Mark says, yes, I totally agree. 8x10 in infrared would be amazing. Actually, if anybody has a good contact at Rolei, I would love to, I'd love to get in touch with them because Rolei makes a fantastic 4x5 infrared sheet film. It's probably the closest to the FG IR that I've seen, and I would love to see an 8x10. Laura, if you're listening, put some earmuffs on. I would try my best to get a full order of the 8x10 myself. I just need to know what the minimum order is so I can make bad decisions. Anyway, so hey, welcome back. We're here at Large Format Live. This is up in my darkroom space at 400 West Ridge here in Columbus, Ohio. I've got stuff set up. We're doing some news, some Q&A stuff. And yeah, there's a lot of you folks listening. So thank you so much for tuning in. Let's see. H.L. Ron has a really easy question. What's my favorite beer? I actually don't drink alcohol. I stopped drinking right before the pandemic set in. And yeah, my alcohol budget pays for about an extra box of 8x10 film per year, which is a non-zero number. In fact, since I blew through 2 boxes of Portra 160 at Joshua Tree, I'm really happy to have that extra cash. All right, Sam asked, are we doing a photo walk in Columbus anytime soon? Well, I don't have anything planned, but usually I try to do large format walks around the summertime, not the oppressively hot parts of the summer, but think like early July or like late August. I do have a really cool workshop that I'm running in conjunction with Midwest Photo though, and that's my waterfalls workshop. That's a few weekends from now. It's April 23rd, and it's going to be at Cedar Falls, which you may have seen here on season 3 of Large Format Friday. If this is your first time joining us, my name is Matt Marrash. This is Large Format Live. I typically come to you on Fridays with a pre-made video talking about something large format, but this is news I wanted to get out there as soon as possible regarding film prices and Cinestill 400D. The link to the project is up above, and yeah, drop a like, share this, and give me a comment. Let me know where you're hailing from. Harry, thanks for joining us from Germany. Fantastic. Techie Type. Oh, hey, Nico, how's it going, man? I don't have the suit, but I'm kind of dropping some news on the folks. I hope that's okay. I don't want to like, cross over too much. I also I don't know how you do it, man. You can like keep the deadpan going for infinitely longer than I can. I remember when we did our live stream back in 2020, I thought like for a second you were like sharing a pre-recorded version of yourself, because I swear that like you just had like the same, you even had like the framing perfectly going. I can't do that. I'm just like moving around too much. But Nico, everyone from Nico's Photo News, if you haven't subscribed to his channel, please do. He is the source of all film photography news. This isn't something I'm trying to scoop him on, but yeah, I love seeing him. We both started large format around the same time, so it's so cool to see where things have gone in the last decade plus. Hey, we've got Casey still back. Hey, we've got Zach. Hey, Zach, how's it going, man? All right, let's see. We've got Josh. We've got Eric. We've got Chris. We've got Dave, Austin, Chris, Mark. We have Faranji. Hey, we've got Jesse. Hey, how's it going, Jesse? All right, back up to some questions. I'll recap the news, and we'll kind of see where we're at. We're less than 45 minutes. We're doing pretty good. I'm going to refresh the Cinestill page to see how things are looking. Did we hit 97 yet? We didn't hit 97 yet. That's okay. That's right. Getting the news out, that's the most important thing. Dave, thanks for ordering the 4x5. Oh, hey, David. David Imel is another fantastic photographer, really energetic fellow who was shooting some of his very first sheets of large format at Joshua Tree last weekend. I was so happy to help out for that, and I hope the bellows on your Linhof are feeling better sometime soon. All right. Got Bryce. Oh, Bryce asked, how did I make sure to send, oh, the sun is dimming. Let's bump that up. Perfect. Bryce asked, how did I send my stuff to make sure it didn't get fried in shipping? Well, technically, I don't know yet because I haven't developed anything, but I'm fairly confident that it's looking good. UPS in the past has not fried any of my film in transit to any sort of location. I have a whole host of film photography and do not X-ray stickers plastered all the way across my luggage, but we'll see. It might be very cool interpretive photography if it was fried, but I don't believe so. It is not the same level of aggressive X-ray scanning that happens with checked baggage. All right, I'll catch up on some comments here. Very, very cool. Josh asks, do I think large format reversal film will be around for longer? So meaning like the Provia and the E100 that are out there. I would say your best bet is E100. If you like reversal film, put your money into E100. That's that Kodak's making. They seem to be willing to make it on a ready stock basis, and Freestyle in the United States, BH Photo, and PhotoMpex.de also have regular stock of it. That's going to be the way to go. Even if for some reason it kind of goes away as regular stock, your manufacturer's Kodak will go direct through Keith Canham to organize orders from a bunch of different people. So I think that's still going to be here for a while. Again, my answer is I'm kind of a broken record. Support motion picture, that's going to support film photography going forward. If motion picture tomorrow stops archiving, projecting, scanning prints or film prints, that's when we have to kind of worry about the state of film photography. And even from then, because they were consuming such a vast amount of film, the amounts that would remain would probably still sustain the film market for a few years, pending a few like panic buyers. So I think like if the industry stopped producing motion picture film tomorrow, it's kind of like the sun going out, except we wouldn't have, what is it, like 8 years or whatever? We would have, we'd probably have like 2 to 3 solid years of being able to find stock, but at inflated prices. All right. Oh, hey, Chris. Chris Vosu, thanks for the shout out in the comments. Glad to hear that 90mm wide angle lens is working out. It was a really, really sweet one. For those of you just tuning in, thank you for joining me. This is Large Format Live. I'm up here in my darkroom space. I'm sharing some large format news, the bad news, the Fujifilm price increases, the films that we're no longer seeing in large format, but then the good news, the possibility of a new film in the form of Cinestill 400D, which is their Vision 250D with the remjet removed and converted to a large format film. This will be the first new large format film that I've seen in quite some time. Not a new version or something that's brought back to 4x5. No, completely new. We have never seen Vision stock of that same one used as sheet film. So this is exciting stuff, and I really want you to consider supporting or at least sharing this live stream and the link that I have pinned in the chat, because that's how you can help film photography. You can also go to the movies and archive things on film, because motion picture film is incredibly expensive. All right. Austin asks, does anybody offer a 3D printed panoramic 120 back for 4x5 right now? You know, that's a really good question. I don't know if anybody does. My recommendation for panoramic roll film backs is to consider getting a really nice Horseman or a Cinar roll film back. They are more expensive, but they are built to last. Some of these backs are already 30, 40 years old, and they are not going to slow down anytime. I know Mr. Keith Canham makes a motorized 6x17 back. That's for select cameras, mostly his. But those are good ways to do it. There's also the more inexpensive Calumet style one that kind of pops in. It's really thin. It kind of like pops into the back of the camera, and you don't have to use a Graph-Lock compatible back to make that work. But anybody that's a niche manufacturer out there, there's demand. Very cool. Hey, KZ from Amsterdam, thanks for joining the live stream today. Very cool. Zach, you were out in Joshua Tree at the same time as I was? That is wild, dude. It was easy to miss each other, though, because it's a huge, like, awesome park. But that's so cool. All right, very cool. All right, Eric, thank you so much for kicking in on the Cinestill project. I'm really not trying to twist anybody's arm. If you don't feel like you're in a place where you can financially support the Cinestill program, share the link. Let people know, because again, this is not a dollar amount goal. Giving them $10,000 or giving them $30 does the exact same thing. So yeah, be smart about it. Kick them $30 if you can only afford a couple rolls of film right now. Thanks again for joining us. This is Large Format Live. Jesse's asking, wink, wink, anything in the works for that box of film I sent you? Very yes. There's some studio stuff coming up with my buddy Tariq. I've always, whenever I hang out with Tariq, we devolve into instant film shenanigans, and that is on the docket for that. I actually have a lot of film to comb through that has been sent into the channel. Thank you everybody that supported the channel. There's all sorts of different ways to support the channel. Like this video, share this live stream, drop me a comment, let me know where you're coming from. Yeah, so many different things. There's also links in the live stream description, you can go to marrash.com, and there's LFF memberships where you can support the channel on a recurring basis. And somebody also reminded me the other day, because I forgot I had the link up, I offer these shirts. This is merch. So once this video, I'll have to like do this later on. But yeah, this shirt's actually available. So in the words of my professor Jeff, get a frickin' tripod. It's got this amazing, totally not Blade Runner font that it's available in, and there's a few different t-shirts and hoodies for it. So that's another way to support the channel. So yeah, you can also sound like a crotchety old dude complaining about how nobody wants to use a tripod these days. All right, very cool. Oh hey, HL Ron, thanks for the super chat. I really appreciate that, man. Definitely didn't need to, but I will put that towards shipping the Cinestill my way. Oh, I have Tim. I have a question in the chat. Is it true that Polaroid are finishing 8x10 peel apart film? So my answer has changed. If you would have asked me this 2 weeks ago, I would have said it doesn't look good because they hadn't manufactured any of that film that the public could see for quite some time. But I heard a little rumor. So a couple of weeks ago, Brooklyn Film Camera hosted, was it Brooklyn Film Camera? I believe they posted about it. I'm not sure if they hosted the event, but they posted that there was a portrait type event that was occurring using some 8x10 inch Polaroid. It might have been Polaroid that posted this, but the picture, anyway, the pictures of that stock of 8x10 Polaroid made its way to me within like minutes of it going on Instagram. And I immediately started asking questions. I started reaching out to contacts because I kind of felt like I was definitely in like jealous ex-boyfriend mode, which I'm not a jealous person, but I want to know who had that 8x10 Polaroid film. And the rumor is, this is not confirmed, I have no confirmation from anybody, so leave it at that. That film was produced fresh for that shoot. Retailers haven't seen this film in darn near 2 years, but for a boutique shoot, that film was still made available. So what I really think we need to do is hold some feet to the fire and say, Polaroid, where is it? We want this stuff. I know I want this stuff. I know I have orders pending at several different large retailers. Yeah, and I'd love to see it. So before I get salty, I'm gonna say hi to some folks that are here. Whoa, we are almost at 100 folks here watching. Thank you so much for tuning in to Large Format Live. My name is Matt Marrash. I'm the host of Large Format Friday. It's Friday. It's April 1st, but this is no April Fool, and we are live here talking about some film photography news, film availabilities, discontinuations, and the awesome campaign that is Cinestill's new 400D. They are 96% of the way there. Any pledge, $30 and above, is doing your job to support a new 4x5 film hitting the market. So check out the link that's pinned above, and yeah, hope to see some new film from them by October of this year. All right, let's see. I'm gonna hit some more comments up, and I think we're gonna wrap things up. We're doing pretty good. We're gonna try to get this in under an hour. Laura, remind me, we're getting close. All right, let's see. Gordon says, I want to see Orwo create a 120 and 4x5. I absolutely agree. So when I was at the Joshua Tree event, I also had a chance to talk with not just Cinestill, but some other leaders in the analog community, folks that are responsible for manufacturing film, for processing large amounts of film, and distributing film. So I got to see all different angles that I don't normally have access to. The one thing that's in common, everybody is doing their best right now to react to just how popular film photography is. If you are under 30, chances are you are part of this new wave of film photographers. It's a much larger wave than I would have ever considered. I met tons of new people when I was out west, and the vibe is everyone's trying to catch up with this insane spike in demand. We're talking about a 2 to 3 times increase over the course of the last 2 years. This hasn't happened. film photography as an industry went from everybody needs to shoot this to almost nobody shoots this within the span of a few years, 2008 to 2010. And then when Kodak filed for bankruptcy, that was kind of like that turning point where, you know, film is like on the down. And we're seeing that kind of, you know, over the past decade, it was inching up slowly and slowly, but now the demand is shooting up. There are more enthusiasts looking for film cameras. They're looking for very specific film cameras, and that makes things hard for manufacturers to pin down and say, what are folks committed to shooting? We know they're committed to buying small amounts of stuff, but we don't know if this is something that we can keep going. The only way we as a community can show them that this is something we want to keep going is by supporting your local motion pictures, stuff that are projected on 35mm film, and by placing fresh orders. I have a rule. I'm not going to say never buy expired film, because expired film can be a good value proposition, especially in large format. But for every fresh box I buy, for every expired box I buy, I have to buy a fresh box. It's tough, and you do have to rotate through your film stock. I'm going to be doing that very soon. I may have to show the film fridge on the channel at some point, but support fresh film and support these endeavors when they pop up, because it's a rarity. But I can tell you, if this thing succeeds, it's only going to show the industry that there are a lot of folks that are committed to the continuation of film photography. Yeah, things are looking really, really up in film photography, despite what anybody is saying gloom and doom out there. Hosep asks, can Cinestill be processed in C41? Yes. And it can definitely be processed in a Jobo. In fact, they recommend something where you have precise temperature controls. They also sell one of those immersion circulators with their brand on it for doing such a thing. All right. You know, I was sort of joking about the charity drive thing, but you're really doing that. Yes, I am kind of doing this like a PBS fund drive. We don't have I don't have my mom on standby answering some rotary phones, but we might need to get those up here for the Cinestill pledge. I would love to do some sort of telethon. That would be great. All right, take some more questions here. Oh, this is just a comment. Nico's saying that Color Mission is looking pretty cool. Color Mission is awesome. I think ADOX is doing things kind of in an old school way, where they're not asking for the money up front. They're saying, here's some pre-done film. This funds more research. So that is a slower but more sustainable approach for a company that doesn't want to lose they don't want to lose their shirt in this process. So I'm very hopeful for what ADOX can do. Again, I think film is looking pretty strong and in large format, despite the Fujifilm discontinuations and aggressive price increases that are coming. Things are looking pretty good. All right. Oh, Chris is asking, where's the merch for this stuff available? It is available via known formerly as Teespring. It's called Spring. I did turn on the merch store for it, but I'll put a link down in the descriptions of all my videos, including this one. In fact, let me see if I can put my Spring link in here for the Get a Frickin' Tripod t-shirt. Spring printing. I'm wondering if I can get those here. No, I'm not going to be able to do it without severely derailing things on the stream, so I don't want to do that. All right. Chris asks, he's been shooting some FPP Frankenstein and is looking for some development and reciprocity data. So Frankenstein 200 is a 200 speed traditional grain film. And let me switch off real quick. I'm going to switch over into the darkroom side of things, because yeah, we do have a live active space. That's an OSU professor from the OSU Steam Factory, which is a really cool space. But anyway, when we're talking about a 200 speed traditional grain film like FPP Frankenstein, there are a lot of equivalent films out there that you can look to. The two I recommend you look for in terms of development and reciprocity, the two closest I found are FG 100 and Fomapan 200. The reason I said FG 100 is I find the reciprocity failure for that is is great. And as far as development times, I tend to like the look of Frankenstein when exposed at 100 instead of 200. A lot of the developers I tend to use, like staining developers like PyroCat HD, those like a little bit more oomph, a little bit more exposure on that negative to get a really, really clean result. So yeah, thanks for that question on Frankenstein 200. By the way, that is one of the most affordable black and white films that is out there. Despite some of the increases that are out there, FPP Frankenstein is still at its launch price. I can't say the same for almost any other film that's been out since last fall. All right, let's see if we can head over to the other camera. Oop, all right. Hey, we've got, I found another super chat. That's pretty wild. All right. Hey, Sunbeam Lands, thanks for the $5. I really, really appreciate it. You sure you didn't want to spend that towards some of the Cinestill? Anyway, oh man, I forgot to refresh that camera. Darn it. Okay, that's all right. No worries. All right. Whoa, Gordon, I didn't even notice the $10. Gordon, thank you so much for the 10. I really appreciate that. Is that a pair with a cape? That's pretty cool. Anyway. Oh, actually, Casey's got a question for us. GX Ace, are there any decent value 85mm equivalent lenses you would recommend for 4x5? So 85mm is a little bit on the longer side for 4x5, but I think if you're looking for that equivalent, you would be looking for like, I believe a 250mm lens would be the way to look. So one of my favorite lenses in large format is the Fujinon 250. It's actually a lens that can cover up to 8x10 depending on which one you get. But the Fujinon W lenses, they make two versions. They make an f6.3. That one's good for 4x5 and is modern, EBC coded, all the works. And then you also have the 8x10 version, which is the Fujinon W 250mm f6.7. Thanks for that question. Oh, Gordon, I'm going to answer your question because you kicked in, so I really appreciate that. Any words on Astrum in Ukraine? I have not heard anything. Probably. I may have an update for that after I go pay a visit to my friends over at the Film Photography Project. I'm actually heading out in the next couple of weeks to do some episodes for FPP, so maybe I'll have an update for you for then, but just shoot me a reminder email. For anybody here that's checking out the chat and the live stream, you can always feel free to shoot me any long form questions at largeformatquestions@gmail.com. That's also linked in the description of this video. And you also might see a pinned comment. That's for one of our news topics today, which is the Cinestill 400D campaign. I feel really, really strongly about things that we can do as, as individuals to support the film community besides sharing and buying all the film. 400D gives you a really nice direct out. You can start with 2 rolls at $30 of the 35mm all the way up to committing to 100 sheets of the 4x5, and they do the same thing. They get us closer to that 9,000 supporter number for this Cinestill project. We're still at 96%. We're not at 97% yet, but I do see that number of supporters or backers kicking up. I think we've actually gained 15 backers since this live stream started, so pretty cool stuff. All right. Let's see if we got some more questions. Oh, hey, Charlize, Knocked Girl. Hey, we have another YouTuber here in the chat. Charlize, it was so awesome hanging out with you this weekend, seeing your love for all things Leica, and of course hanging out and hearing about all of Kevin's cool shenanigans with large format and leatherworking and racing, and yeah, just you guys are awesome folks. I can't wait to see more work from everybody at the Joshua Tree event. We've got Mario here from Portugal. Thanks, Mario, for tuning in. All right, Nico, I totally agree. Knocked Girl, Charlize's videos, or Knocked Girl, has some really cool content, and I had some serious Leica envy at the Joshua Tree event last weekend. It was wild. It was also like an unofficial, it was a Beers and Cameras event, so it was also an unofficial Leica con, as well as, I don't think I've ever seen more Hasselblad X-Pans and Fujifilm TX1s, the panoramic cameras. I've never seen more of those in one place. as I did last weekend. It was pretty wild. All right, Nat from Italy, thanks for joining us. All right, very cool. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in to the show. Let's see, we've got Gordon, perfect. Awesome cameras. Those events are awesome when we can make them, but I'll admit I've missed more than my fair share of events in the past decade. It stinks, but we can always look forward to the new stuff and the next upcoming thing. In fact, one of the next upcoming things that I'm really excited about that you'll probably hear me talk about more on the channel is Photostock. So Photostock is an event that takes place a little bit closer to where I'm at. It takes place almost in the Upper Peninsula, so all the way at the top of the Mitten in Michigan. And that's hosted by Mr. Bill Schwab. You can find out more information about Photostock at photostockfest.com. I believe registrations go live fairly soon on that. So pretty cool stuff. All right, let's pay some respects to folks that we have in the chat. Sunbeam Lambs, thanks for kicking in, as well as supporting the Cinestill 400D, which is awesome. Techie Type asks, have I considered doing any Zoom interviews with well-known large format shooters? Yes and no. I have some experience with Zoom, but anytime I've done an interview or have taken part in like these more group Zoom things, there's always something that catches up. In fact, on today's live stream, there was some audio issues. So I really want to get to the point where I'm more confident with those before doing such a thing, but there are a lot of folks I want to talk to. Many folks are more curious as you get to know me and the channel develops. People want to know more things like my inspirations, who do I look up to, who do I go to for advice, and interviews are probably the best way to flesh those out. I've also had some ideas, I want to be given road free advertising. I also have some ideas for things that take place in the darkroom or some type of mobile darkroom, which those are a lot of overhead to perform, but I think are worth it in showing the community what is out there in terms of film photography. So great question. All right. We got some folks from the One More Stop Discord server, so thanks to all of y'all out there. Perfect. Let's see. Jesse with the Graflex, fantastic. Norbert, hey, thanks for joining us from Berlin. All right. Austin is saying, all right, so the inside joke of the weekend, well, not the best inside joke I can say on the air in front of the whole world is, the word glizzy was like the word of the weekend. So glizzies and cameras, that's like the new hip slang. So glizzies are what we call, what Southern Californians refer to hot dogs, especially hot links that are cooked over the hot fire. Oh no, my live stream seems to be fluttering. Is it going? Can you guys hear me? I just saw a big spinning wheel, so hopefully nothing's good. Eric asks, any Kodak gold in LF? Oh, I would kill to have gold in LF, but you just reminded me, I did get my care package when I came home. I did get a nice little care package from Kodak that did include a few rolls of Kodak Gold in 120. I do hope to get those out and shot. I'm not sure if I'm going to do them on large format with a medium format back or a medium format and large. Well, we'll figure it out. I've got some shoots planned with this, so stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, each and every Friday, I'm going to be here chatting about something large format photography, and occasionally I do live streams like this. This is a month that has 5 Fridays, so I thought, let's do something special and kick it off strong with the live stream. All right, let's see how everybody's doing here. Fantastic. Casey said remember to pound those glizzies. Absolutely. I believe the term is we pounded hella glizzies at the event. All right. Whoa, we got Forrest in the chat. Hey, Forrest, how's it going, man? Are you still hanging out over in Philly? Any up-and-coming large format photographers we should be paying attention to? Actually, there is an up-and-coming large format photographer. He hasn't even shot 10 sheets yet. He was in the chat earlier, Mr. David Imel, so D-A-V-I-D-I-M-E-L. He's a pretty big influencer from what I've seen, and he's dipping his toe into large format. He's got this awesome, I believe he has a Graflex camera, and he also came loaded to the Joshua Tree event with a Linhof monorail camera, so that's dedication. Oh, we have somebody in from Shanghai. Thanks for joining us here today. All right. Hey, we've got Amanda. Hey, thanks for stopping by today, Amanda. Lars, got Austin, Nico. Let's see. Perfect. Okay, sound's still all right. I was a little doubtful there for a second. It was getting a little wild showing the spinning wheel. Oh man, of course we did go over an hour. All right, I'm gonna try to wrap this up. I'm gonna wrap up the news, take some last comments, and then we're gonna get on out of here, let everybody enjoy their large format Friday. So let's see. Devin mentioning, yes, my care package did include a stick of Kodak Portra chapstick. Sleeper hit of Kodak is their ability to produce decent chapstick. I've been using exclusively Kodak chapstick for the last decade because I used to attend all the different events. So yeah, that's pretty good stuff. Oh, Gaston, very, very appreciative. Thank you for kicking in. I appreciate it very, very much. All right, so I'm going to. Oh, I do have to pay my respects to the One More Stop gang, and it wouldn't be a live stream without paying some homage to CNR. I love my CNR camera. There are going to be plenty of, I don't want to call them CNR supremacy, but very pro monorail, pro CNR videos that are in the works. The only thing about the channel getting big for like one person to handle is there's lots of things I want to do. And I kind of have to like be reasonable about like as I put them out. And for some reason, doing things like these live streams is a little bit easier. But I really appreciate everybody who's tuning in, chipping into the channel, liking, commenting, sharing this out there. All right, I want to wrap up the news, and then we're going to get on out of here. So the news today, sadly, Fuji is upping their prices. 20 to 60% has been confirmed. I saw a translated version of the press release over at DP Review as well as on Petapixel. It's sad, but it's happening. If you are somebody that loves Fujifilm stocks, I would recommend buy it when you can. Don't overbuy. Don't go into a debt for this, but buy it as you can find it. Expired film is pretty good. I found about 10, 15 years for cold stored before you have to start worrying about like different exposure and development will handle pretty well with a lot of Fujifilm stocks. But that means the remaining sheet film stock, which is Provia in 4x5 and 8x10, are slated to increase sometime this month. That also sadly does include Instax, which I'm going to be pumping up later this month when I talk about the Lomo Graph-Lock instant film back. I'm really excited about that. It's awesome to have options that are inexpensive, but even if those go up in price, it's still going to be the cheapest instant film that handles 4x5. So keep that in mind. As far as things that are going on in a positive sense, E100 kind of shifted from like a niche sometimes available 8x10 stock to now it's regularly available in 4x5 and 8x10. If you're interested in 5x7 or larger volumes of 8x10 or larger, Keith Canham over at canhamcameras.com is now offering that, so you can check that out. There's also now FPP Frankenstein, which we talked about a couple times today. That is a dirt cheap 25 sheet, 200 speed traditional black and white film. It handles a lot like other traditional grain emulsions in that speed, similar to FG 100 and Fomapan 200. Great stuff. And stay tuned for more FPP emulsions later on this year. And the big reason that I did this whole event is to talk about Cinestill 400D. Cinestill 400D is Kodak Vision 250D ECN2 or motion picture film that is being talked about done in 4x5. In fact, they are very, very close to their goal. This is not a monetary goal like a Kickstarter. This is a number of supporters thing. They want to see that this film is sustainable. So once they hit 9,000 backers, that campaign will be considered a success and they will make it in 35, 120, and 4x5. No matter what happens, they're going to make it in 35 and 120. But we are really, really close. We're less than 300 folks away committing to this, to getting to a brand new 4x5 sheet film. That's exciting stuff no matter what way you cut it. I won't even get mad at them for not making it an 8x10. All right, let's see. To kind of wrap things up, I'm going to talk to some folks in the chat, and then we're going to get on out of here. Oh, hey, David, you're still watching. Hey, man. Oh, you only shot 4 sheets in Joshua Tree? Well, I think even with those pinholes we discovered later on, you're going to be good because those were some sunset shots. You just got to have fun with it. But I'm so stoked that you're hooked on large format. That's my whole job. I'm kind of like the I want to be the large format ambassador for a lot of folks. Make it as easy and approachable as possible. In times where the price of cameras and the price of film is going up and up and up, our access to information has never been better. So even if you're not shooting large format currently and you're watching this stream, go ahead and get subscribed to the channel, and you can check out some of our previous seasons playlists where I take you step by step through the process. I promise you, if you watch at least 50% of each video in the Large Format Friday series, you're gonna come out of this with a lot of little tips and tricks that you're gonna be able to take and not mess up those expensive, precious sheets of film. All right, I'm gonna get up off my high horse, say hi to some more folks in the chat, and then we're gonna get on out of here. Cool, all right, we're seeing some folks that are very pro CNR, appreciate that. All right. Nico, yes, CNR Normas are the sleeper hit. In fact, I thought that's what David's camera was. I was like, oh man, you got a CNR. But it was a Linhof. It was a Linhof that was from like the same era as the Norma. Really, it's like still awesome camera, and I knew where everything was, but it just wasn't a CNR because the board size was like a little bit off. Very, very cool. All right, oh, we have somebody from Sydney. Oh man, that's actually like, that's a commitment. You're watching this way, way, way early in the morning, so I appreciate it so much for checking out the channel. All right, fantastic. All right, Sunbeam Lands with the final comment. My 8x10 CNR F is married to the Birkin James. Took the inspiration from Matt's. Yes. Oh yeah. Maybe I guess I'll tip everybody that's still watching off to what's going to happen this month. So this is a weird month. There's 5 Fridays this month. I kind of feel like that's a really special thing, right? We don't always get months where there's 5 large format Fridays. We're planning something real big for the last weekend in April. So thank you so much for everybody who tuned in today to Large Format Live. I'm Matt Marrash. I was delivering some large format specific news. Check out that pinned comment at the top of the chat for the Cinestill 400D project. Your commitment of even $30 will go towards the success of the 400D sheet film coming to life. I'm excited for it. I really want to see some of that stuff in fall of this year and get out and shoot with a brand new film emulsion. If you have any questions about the large format photographic process, you can drop that down below in the chat for the next few seconds, or for those long form questions, you can hit me up at largeformatquestions@gmail.com. Thanks again for stopping by today, and we'll catch you next week for more Large Format Friday.